Welcome to Inside the Huddle on Sachem Report. I'm Chris Vaccaro, joined by Dave Falco, and we're in yet another setting here in the building at Sachem North. This is the robotics hub. We have a fantastic robotics program here, and we're just on our quest to find a new location every week.
Those guys do a great job. They're here late at night. They work extremely hard, the kids and the teachers, so it's great to see.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities here for the kids, but let's talk about the football opportunity in our program. We'll just start with week one. We'll talk briefly about the victory over Sachem East. I guess just the emotions of it, the rivalry aspect. You've had a week to just push it aside and then think about week two, but what was that like for you?
It was a long summer thinking about them and playing our rivalry game. I think it allowed us to prepare pretty good this summer, and the kids were motivated most of the summer. And I think that great summer turned into a great performance. We have very fast kids, and they work extremely hard. And so I was very happy with the performances. Obviously, things you have to look at the film that we need to correct and get better at. But I was happy with the performance overall.
So Trent Croston's playing in his first live action since week 3 of last year. That was something I was looking at. I'm sure everybody who supports the program is just nervous when people get back from injury, especially Trent.
Right.
So what was that like for him? What were you talking about? He did cramp up at one point.
Yeah. It was an extremely hot day. We did have some guys that had some cramping issues, some calves and some hamstring stuff. But overall, I think Trent did a great job, and he's a great leader for us, and he's someone we definitely need on the field. It's always a little scary when he carries the ball. You always have that angst about whether he's fully healed or not, especially after last season. But I was very happy with what we saw. It's definitely a work in progress. He's getting better every week. But he had a touchdown of 20 and 40 and 80. So I was pretty impressed with that performance, but I was more impressed with his ability to be a leader for us on the field. And that's something that we talk about all the time. So he's a great kid. It was great to see him back in action. We're excited to see what he can do this week.
Yeah, so you had the storyline with Trent, and then I was writing all night because there was a lot of good things that happened in that game. Kevin Bragaglia, first game of his junior season, already now owns the career interceptions record. For the average person and the average football fan, I don't think they understand how important it is to have a good secondary, but to have a young kid who's the cornerstone of the backfield in the secondary, play that well, that's a weapon.
He was definitely a surprise for us a year ago coming out of camp. We thought he had a great camp a year ago, and he had a great season with 9 interceptions. For him to get 2 in the first game, and now to have 11, as somebody in the safety program for his career, Kevin is just an outstanding kid, and he's worked hard as well. He has a knack for the ball. He has great hands. He has great jumping ability. He's a great cover guy. He's very deceptive in zone coverage. And he's pretty lucky because that ball always seems to bounce in his hands.
It does. If he gets 11 more, he ties the Suffolk County record, and he's got probably close to 20 games left. So we'll see what happens.
That would be great.
The other historic moment was Brian Morris, of course, setting the Long Island record for PATs, and that's kickers never get love anywhere at any level, but especially in high school.
Right.
And the team went wild. They gave him a nice deserved ovation, and I don't think he was expecting that. That was pretty special.
It kind of surprised me too. We hadn't really talked about it. We don't really talk about records and individual performance type stuff.
Just me.
But I was surprised at the team's reaction. He was very happy about it. I was happy about it. We have a very tight-knit group, and I think that and it's not something that he talks about a lot as well. So for them to have been following that and to realize what was going on was pretty special for our team, and obviously special for him.
And another player that got on the stat sheet and the score sheet is a young running back, number 33, Steve Anacreon. For me, I hadn't really seen much of him, and for him to get some extra work when the star players were out and later in the game, that was interesting.
The 2 guys coming out of camp were Jasheen Banks and Steve. And Steve has done a phenomenal job. He was a great player for us on the JV. He's definitely going to get more time as the season goes on. Right now, his running is right where it needs to be. His blocking and his assignments have to get better, but as a young player, we expect that. So he's a guy that we're definitely going to bring along as we go. You're going to see some more of him this week. But he's a great kid.
So that brings us up to week 2. That brings us to Connect Quad on Friday night at home opener. Always that Ronkonkoma battle. So it'll be a big game. What can we expect? What type of adjustments do you need to make just seeing your team during week 1?
A year ago, they were a spread team. So looking back now at our team, how did we handle the East spread game and what they were doing to us and those kinds of corrections? Probably not a dynamic of a quarterback from a throwing perspective, but more dynamic running the ball. I think we have to do a better job of stopping the run inside. We had some assignment breakdowns and some run lane fill assignment breakdowns. I thought we tackled pretty well, but that's something that we always work on. Better communication. I thought there was some communication breakdowns where half the defense was in one look and the other half in some other look. So I think from a communication standpoint, continuing to improve our tackling. I thought we ran a lot of guys in defensively, so I think that helped us. So I think bringing guys along is going to help as well. But I think overall, the team communication has to get better.
Did you, I'm sure you look at the other scores for Floyd and Lindenhurst, and you start to get an idea of who could be good. Any thoughts about Division One after Week 1?
I think Week 1 is tough to judge who's what. Floyd always struggles early, it seems, and then they get real good as the season goes on. I thought Comac, with a big win. I saw Belleville have a big win. I thought East was a real good team. So it's very hard to judge right now who's where. I think as you get going, Week 3, Week 4, you start to feel where people are at. Teams that are 1-0 want to stay 2-0. Teams that lost one don't want to go 0-2. That really puts a damper. So this Week 2 was really, really big.
All right, well, we'll see what happens Week 2 here at Fred Fasaro Alumni Stadium on Friday night, kickoff 7 p.m. Follow us at Sachem Report on Twitter for live updates throughout the contest. And of course, go to SachemReport.com for all your Sachem needs for news and information. For Dave Falco, I'm Chris Vaccaro. And remember, Sachem, stay classy.